Unfortunately, it's not always about plane trips and cruises. Sometimes it's about making tuna fish sandwiches to take a trip across Kansas.
Packing. I should be a pro at this by now.
We are heading to Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Here we come.
Is this a new road to us?
Right back where we started from.
How many hundreds of times have we made this trip?
Well, Kansas City is one of our favorite. It's of friends.
We like the city, but
a few family members and the city. It's got a lot to do there, really. One of our favorite stops in Kansas is at the Petra Oasis in Colby.
Nice to meet you.
It has nice bathrooms, lots of snack food, plus restaurants, and most important to Ron, a Starbucks.
I'm coming to Kansas City to be a volunteer at the NAIA National Men's Basketball Tournament. I've been going to that tournament for many years, but have never volunteered, and I'm joining two other friends who are volunteering and have been. Bev, on the other hand, is coming to see some family and good friends.
Ron and I stayed with a friend in Olathe, but one day I joined my brother who wanted to show me some historic spots in Shawnee where he lives. It's a suburb of Kansas City and the oldest town in Johnson County. The oldest building in Shawnee dates back to 1824. It was burned in Quantrill's raid on Shawneetown in 1862. So cute. It looks like a tiny little building, but it's added onto that electric supply over there. Just a few blocks south on Neiman Road is a sign pointing the way to the Shawnee Indian Cemetery and what was called Gum Springs. An 1854 treaty between the Shawnee Indians and the U.S. government set aside 5 acres for the cemetery and a church. Today, only a half acre and a few gravestones remain. The cemetery, where only Shawnee and their kin are buried, is in the middle of a residential neighborhood. And although many were buried in unmarked graves, the named graves include Chief Joseph Parks, first elected chief of the Shawnee, and members of Chief Charles Blue Jacket's family. Also close to the cemetery is the house of the first governor of the Kansas Territory. But be warned, I discovered it's a private residence, though the owner was extremely nice when I inquired about it. A statue of Wild Bill Hickok is in another of the city's parks, though it seemed to me he had a somewhat tenuous connection to the area. A little further east on Shawnee Mission Parkway is Pioneer Crossing Park, which commemorates pioneers who used the California, Santa Fe, and Oregon trails, as well as Fort Leavenworth Military Road, some of them camping at the Gum Springs Cutoff in Shawnee. Our last visit was at a memorial to Chief Blue Jacket, and included the names of families that would be recognizable to area residents. I spent that evening enjoying time with my niece, Kat, and the next day, Ron and I joined Kat and her boyfriend at a very popular bakery in Overland Park. This is quite the place.
Yeah.
Can I go for it?
Yeah.
So good.
Okay, let's see how you like it.
Very good.
It's like really yummy chocolate cream, and then there's raisins, and then a brioche bread. It's really good, actually.
Though new to us, I learned this bakery has locations worldwide. While Ron headed back to the NAIA basketball tournament, Kat, Caleb, and I decided to visit the Nelson-Atkins Museum of Art. The premier art museum in Kansas City, it was established in 1933 from a monetary donation, which gave curators the great fortune to be able to build the collection from the ground up. They were able to select art from around the world, especially during the Great Depression when owners were anxious to sell. After browsing, we headed to the museum's cafe.
They do weddings here a lot. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It has blueberries in it. That's so lovely.
And what is it again?
It is, what was it? It was thyme. Blueberry and thyme latte.
The museum is free every day it's open. It's closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays. However, an online reservation or check-in in person is required. If you use the parking lot, the cost is $14, but there's also free parking near the museum. It's well worth a visit. Time spent with friends, in church, and at a concert rounded out our Kansas City trip. But it was on the way back home we got a big surprise.
Just foolish.
We were able to pull off the road and find a hotel in the nick of time. We're in an IHOP in the middle of an ice storm, or maybe a snowstorm, with ice on the road.
And what town?
Oakley, Kansas.
Oakley, Kansas, yeah.
The hotel quickly booked up, and we learned I-70, which we could see from our window, was closed shortly after we stopped. So we were very fortunate. We ventured out the next morning.
I put off the accelerator for that.
Boy, were we glad to see Colorado. Thanks for watching.